You're listening to DraftKings Network.
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end...
What will I become?
Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Now's a good time to remember where the story of tequila started. In 1795, the first tequila distillery was opened by the Cuervo family. And 229 years later, Cuervo is still going strong. Family owned from the start, same family, same land. Now's a good time to enjoy Cuervo, the tequila that invented tequila. Go to Cuervo.com to shop tequila or visit a store near you. Cuervo, now's a good time. Trademarks owned by Becle, SAB, the CV. Copyright 2024. Proximo. Jersey City, New Jersey. Please drink responsibly.
This is the Dan Batard Show with the Stugotz podcast.
Dan is off for the day, for the week, actually. He is in L.A. Again, he loves going to L.A. He is, this is part 2 of his sit-downs with Joy Taylor, Sedano, and Gojo. So he is out for the week, and I have 2 rules when Dan is out. Lazy River, have fun. I hate doing that because it suggests that we don't have fun when Dan is here.
I don't think you hate doing that.
I don't.
Can I implement a Dan fine? Like every time you mention Dan, you owe $1 to the fine bucket?
That's the last time I'm going to mention Dan.
Unless it's funny. Then you get $1 from the fine bucket.
Last time I'm going to mention Dan. Billy, you said we can't talk about the Panthers until they made it to the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Here we are.
We are here.
Yes.
But I have a bone to pick with the NHL, but we don't need to get into that today.
Why?
Well, because last year I went, if you want to get into it, we can. Last year I went and I did, I thought, a great job of covering the Stanley Cup Final. I was there as a credentialed member of the media.
You were.
And I was, as I've often said, the Florida Panthers do not win a Stanley Cup Final game without Billy Gill in attendance, and that is a fact. You can look it up.
Mm-hmm.
So I was trying to keep that streak alive this year, and I reached out to the people in this company that deal with credentials, and I said, hey, I'd like to offer my services to cover the Stanley Cup Final again because I think that we did a great job. I know we have a hockey show now, but I want to pitch in if we have to. Last year, I don't want to say we carried it with God Bless Hockey, but we did, I think a lot of significant lifting. Then, Rick got his head out and he did a hockey show now, so they don't necessarily need my services as much as they did last year. But I still volunteered, I can go, I can cover the game, be it on social, be it on the hockey show, or just, being informed on this show. So I offered to go, and I'd said I'd like a credential. And then Roy informed me that the credential process was closed on May 30th, which I don't know that I believe. I think Roy's trying to keep me away from the Stanley Cup Final.
On May 30th, you were not ready to talk Panthers, though.
Well, no team had been decided by May 30th, and last year, after the teams were decided, is when my credential was put in. So unless they changed the process or whatever, something happened where Roy's telling me that I can't go to credential, I don't know if I believe it. And I'm not ready to declare hockey as dead, but if that's how we're treating credentialed members of the media, we're locking them out of covering their hometown teams during the Stanley Cup Final, then, what are we going to do? How am I going to help grow the sport?
I heard Rose is in charge of credentials now, so I think if you talk to her, she can get you.
You went to the wrong person.
I did.
Yes.
I went to Cynthia and Roy, but I'm now going to loop in Rose and say, hey, Rose. Not going to do John because I don't know what
Are you going to go to
I'd show up
Edmonton?
to. What?
Are you going to go to Edmonton?
No, come on.
Chris,
I have a family.
Are you going to go to Edmonton?
No one's going to Edmonton.
I want to so badly.
Which is Edmonton?
There are no
Canucks?
directees. I'm telling you right now. It's like an 8-hour trip. Mike, you're not going to Edmonton, are you?
It's a 14
8 hours.
14 hours?
14-hour travel day when you include the layovers.
I think you need to take sled dogs at some point, too.
Do you have intentions of going to Edmonton?
I would like to. Like, from a hockey experience, a Stanley Cup Final where your team is playing against a Canadian team.
Yes.
That's an experience that you often dream about. However, because the Panthers specifically have home ice in this, I don't think I can make the schedule work. I'm either missing a wedding or my wife's birthday.
Wow.
She's had plenty of those.
Wow.
Whose wedding, though?
Yeah.
So it's like it's a cousin. It's a cousin-in-law. And it's not
one of Cynthia's cousins.
A cousin-in-law?
I love her, but it's also not the first marriage.
Okay, then you don't need to go.
What?
I was going to ask, what do we think are the chances of this
Even
works
if you
out?
weren't going to Edmonton, you shouldn't go.
Hold on. Did you go to the first? Did you go to the first marriage?
And is it in Miami?
I wasn't around for the first marriage, so yeah. And I've been around for a while, so.
Okay, so that one barely counts then.
Did Cynthia go to the first marriage?
She did.
Did she get a gift?
Did she get a gift?
Did she get a gift for the cousin?
Oh yeah, well definitely.
Oh, then no second wedding gift, right? Do we agree on that?
I think
you don't need to buy people 2 wedding gifts, even if the second marriage. You got your one.
I mean, it
was
depends.
If you liked it so much, you should have gotten it in the divorce. But that's a story.
We RSVP'd yes because when the invite came, this was a discussion. I saw the date, and I'm like, just know we're at RSVP yes, but there's a chance that we're in the Stanley Cup Final at this time, and just file that one away. And sure enough, it's poked its head because if the Panthers had home ice, I could just go to the wedding because thankfully it's a daytime wedding.
Sure,
and
I love that.
And I could have just jetted over to Game 3.
Was the first spouse? Did they pass away, or was it a divorce?
No, they're amicable divorce.
I don't know what I'm rooting for here.
Yeah, I know. Do you like the spouse? Ex-spouse?
Yeah.
Who do you like better, the ex-spouse or the future spouse?
I like them both. I like them both.
You have an out now, though.
Cop out,
I mean, you have to go to Edmonton, but you have an out. I mean,
yeah, but I've always wanted to go to Edmonton. I just don't think it's going to be in the cards. But I'm really excited about this Stanley Cup. It's not the Canucks, it's the Oilers. It's Oilers, Florida, and it's a dream matchup. You have arguably the game's biggest star in Connor McDavid, a guy that's reputed to be its best player, against, I'll say it right now, the best Florida Panthers team of all time. So, yeah, this should be great hockey. I was probably, if you would have had me on Truth Serum, I probably would have preferred Edmonton get the draw from a what our chances are point of view, because I'm a huge fan of the Dallas Stars. I think their depth would provide to be a problem. But
the Stars made you nervous.
They did. The Tanev injury did kind of change things because we'll probably find out. I think that dude broke his foot blocking a puck, and all that dude does is block pucks. But Edmonton poses a sincere threat, not just because they have 2 individual talents in Draisaitl and McDavid that can just, as McDavid showed last night, they didn't get a lot of shots. He provided one hell of a chance just by his God-given natural ability. I kind of fear centerman more, as we've seen throughout this playoff run. There have been some really top-tier wingers that have gone up against the Florida Panthers, and they've been fairly neutralized. Kucherov, Panarin was neutralized. Pastrnak had his games, but also neutralized, even though he plays a different type of game. I think how you bother Florida is more direct play. Center of the ice was totally erased against New York, but they're not this muscular team. They're not this tough team. Zach Hyman, who's commonly referred to as Shaq Hyman, is a 50-goal scorer, and what he does is he parks his big body in front of that goalie, and he makes life difficult. We'll see if Edmonton's going to be able to do what New York either just wasn't able to or didn't even really try to do. So it's a really interesting clash of styles. Tkachuk has his history with Edmonton. It should be a really great Stanley Cup Final.
Is it fair to say that Edmonton's path to the final was a little bit easier than the Panthers? And will that come into play at all?
Yeah, well, keep in mind, they did beat Dallas, so it's like Highlander. You get credit for, I guess, Dallas's victories because Dallas went through a really great Vegas team. They went through Colorado. They had the Nishishkin thing fall on their heads, and that probably altered that series. But I'm really surprised to see Edmonton here. They did not play well against Vancouver, and I thought headed back to Edmonton, they'd once again fold under the weight of these expectations. I was kind of manifesting a Dallas score 4 minutes into that game, and the entire nervous energy of a country falls upon that barn. But
you were also just hoping for the direct flight to Dallas on American.
Hub City to Hub City would have been.
What an easier.
You can be honest.
Yeah, Hub City to Hub City would have been pretty great.
The thing about this series is we're not just playing against Edmonton.
Right.
We're going up against the entire country of Canada.
Really?
Yeah, but you have all of America behind you.
That's true.
Well, is that what this is?
I mean, I bet
it's us versus Canada.
When's the last time Canada won a Stanley Cup.
I mean, the Canadians have won 23 of them.
I'm a hockey expert.
Yeah, 1993. I think the last time a Canadian team was in the Stanley Cup was during the pandemic. Montreal was randomly in the Western Conference.
Who knew?
And they
I think Canadian teams have won 37 Stanley Cups, though.
They haven't won since 93.
What have you done for me lately?
When was the Panthers? When did they? What was their first
96?
season?
Oh, no, 94 was their first
you
season.
meant
It's been longer.
1993.
Like all of Florida's entire life as a hockey team.
Yeah, this is our 30th anniversary as a team. But
Canadian Stanley
you mentioned the Oilers' path. Let's reflect on what the Panthers' path is right now, because you couldn't have drawn up a more intimidating / a more fun path, especially when you've gone through 3 of them already. Your hated rival in Tampa Bay, that was Daddy, that was your boogeyman. You got rid of them. You dispatched them in the first series. Then you go through the Boston Bruins and their fan base, a team that was a President's Trophy winner last year, that on the last day still had the division lead. You go through them, and then you go through the President's Trophy winning New York Rangers. Again, there's that pesky Biden Cup curse, Billy.
Yep.
And now you're against Canada.
Well,
I don't think there's a better, more
all
interesting
of Canada.
path.
Yes.
I've been told otherwise. I've been told that all of Canada is not rooting for Edmonton.
Well, like Calgary Flames fans are certainly rooting for Matthew Tkachuk and the Florida Panthers.
My wife was railing about the Canadian teams in the NHL last night. She became a hockey fan this week, and she was railing, saying, why don't they have their own league? And I said if they had their own league, they would be the better league.
Well, if they only had Canadian players.
Well, that's what she was saying, yes.
When they regrouped the divisions for the pandemic. During the pandemic, they regrouped the divisions, which is why Montreal found itself in the West. And there was, all the Canadian teams were grouped together, and that was kind of fun.
I mean, Edmonton, people don't realize this, but Edmonton has won 5 Stanley Cups. Edmonton is...
People don't realize this?
I don't think people... Because they
People
won
don't
them back
realize
in the
Boston
80s.
Celtics have won quite a bit.
You're right. What else do people not realize?
I think people do realize that
a good
Edmonton,
game.
it's what they have. They were the club of Gretzky and Messi.
Yeah, I think people are aware of that, perhaps, but
Maybe.
it's been a while. I
Right.
think it's fair to say
Since
that
the 80s.
this is the most.
Look, they haven't
now
been-
that Connor McDavid is on the Oilers, is the most relevant they've been since that.
Yeah, they haven't. Well, 2006 they made the Cup final. I think they played Carolina. It's been a while since it's almost been 20 years since that franchise has been there. And yeah, you mentioned Connor McDavid, and I imagine the hype machine will grow because he's a kind of name that people have maybe heard about. If you 100 people surveyed, name a hockey player, maybe a casual sports fan might rattle that name off first. And he's incredibly brilliant. He showed last night exactly why he's hyped. He's probably not going to win the Hart Trophy this year, but he's won 3 Hart Trophies in his career. In fact, I saw a cool graphic. What was the draft year? But there was a year that the top picks were Aaron Ekblad, Sam Bennett, Leon Draisaitl, Sam Reinhart went 2nd overall that year. So you have the top 4 picks of that draft all in this series. There's a lot of talent on the ice.
Chris, how was your Saturday night? You were at the game, they clinched, they're going to the Cup. How was that night?
I mean, the barn was rocking.
Yeah.
I think the Rangers fans got a lot of credit for taking over, quote unquote, our arena, but I actually think that was overstated. There were a lot of Rangers fans, but the Panthers fan, this fan base is excited right now. That arena, when it's rocking, is loud.
Mike gave me a signal I went to the wrong person there. He had a better Saturday night than you did.
He probably did.
My Saturday night quickly went into Sunday morning. I got home at 5 a.m.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, it was just a spur of the moment.
Wowzers.
Turn to the wife. Hey, let's keep it going. Let's go to space. So we went
to space?
Yeah, we went to space.
At 5?
17.
No. We stayed at space till 5.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had a sitter. Mom and Dad went out on the town in their Panthers gear.
Did the sitter know they were staying until 5
No,
a.m.?
the sitter was my dad.
Poor
so she was.
Lucy.
I was going to say.
It wasn't possible, but no, it was a great look. This is the hardest trophy in sports to win.
Right.
The Florida Panthers have only been to the final twice. I'm not taking it for granted. I'm really enjoying it because this team, for much of my life, was perpetually 5 points out of the final playoff spot with 2 games in hand and always a punchline. And not only that, but you operated in a state in which Tampa Bay just bossed things, and you were reminded of your shortcomings constantly. And now fast forward here, Florida's conquered that Tampa Bay team, and you can kind of have a little state pride in that for 5 straight years, a Florida team has been in the Stanley Cup Final.
I tried to FaceTime Whitty at 1 a.m. from Quarterdeck.
Yeah.
He didn't answer.
That was your Saturday night.
Well, he's a big Oilers fan, I hear, so he was probably getting ready for Sunday.
Whitty, I saw that tweet. Commas are great.
What?
Overrated.
What was the tweet?
It ended with "Come on, the lads."
Huh?
What?
The Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz is sponsored by BetterHelp. This year has gone by so quickly. Reaching the halfway point of the year is an excellent time to reflect on your mental health journey, assess your progress, and make plans for the future. Ask yourself, what's something you're proud of in 2024 so far? What's something you still want to accomplish this year? When life goes fast, it's important to take a moment to celebrate your wins and adjust what doesn't currently work for the rest of the year. Therapy can help you take stock of your progress and set achievable goals for the next 6 months. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. Just fill out a brief questionnaire to get matched with a licensed therapist and switch therapists at any time for no additional charge. Reflecting on the first half of the year and planning for the next can help you stay proactive about your mental health. By celebrating your progress, setting new goals, and enhancing your support systems, you can continue to foster your well-being and resilience. Take a moment. Visit BetterHelp.com/DLB today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/DLB.
Dan Le Batard.
World War III.
Stugotz.
We're going to get that off the ground.
World War III, our group chat has a pretty good feeling about this one.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
This is a big Stanley Cup for you, Stugotz.
How do you spell cum?
It's a big do it in the Stanley Cup Finals for Connor McDavid and for the Panthers.
Yes, I win either way. Right.
Right.
Someone's going to still have to do it in the Stanley Cup after this series is over. I'm very excited about that. I love that Chris went to the Quarterdeck, though, and tried to FaceTime with Woody, and Mike went out to South Beach, where no one had any idea that the Panthers had advanced to the Stanley Cup.
It wasn't South Beach. It was right here, right downtown. But yet there was actually one instance where there was like a Rangers. There's a lot of New Yorkers that were going to space for closing weekend, and so my Panthers gear irked a couple of people that didn't know how plugged in I was, and they did not get in.
Right. At 5 a.m., you get home, and how does that work? Because you're both out. I used to get home at 5 a.m., but Abby was home.
How it works is I slept in
with your child. I
slept in to 9:45, which is for any parent incredibly late.
Right.
I woke up, I picked up my daughter, and my wife's a hero. She got to rest up that day. That was Daddy's day to, just trudge along and find a way. And find a way he did. Not unlike our Florida Panthers.
Yeah, they didn't touch the Prince of Wales trophy, huh?
Thank goodness.
But
they learned from last year.
The Oilers also didn't
put their hands all over that thing.
Exactly right.
The Oilers also decided that we're not going to make this a team that touches versus a team that doesn't touch type of deal. Wow. We're both just not going to touch. Now that we know what the Panthers did, so no matter what, a loser will be a team that didn't touch, and a winner will be a team that didn't touch.
Someone touched.
The question is, were they going to touch if Maurice told them not to? Because everyone was running with the video of Maurice going to Barkov before.
No one touch it.
No, he gives them the signal.
Right.
Barkey revealed in the press conference that Maurice asked him to not touch it last year, too. And they still touched it. So I don't think it matters what Paul Maurice says.
This year it wasn't an ask.
Yeah, this
the
year.
Results, though.
This year he made it abundantly clear we're not touching that thing. But last year's
it was a demand this year.
Again, we have to really look back on the year that we experienced last year. We had 2 8 seeds that nobody expected make the final, and Messi all happened. But
and the Marlins,
that's right.
Both teams lost in the finals. The Florida Panthers were just a mash unit by the end of it. It was great seasons both teams had respectively, and you kind of knew entering those finals that the odds were kind of stacked against you, and that it had been so long, particularly for the Florida Panthers franchise, that Eastern Conference championship did mean something. So you reveled in it, and last year was very much, man, I'm just happy to be here. I've wanted to be something other than 5 points out of the final playoff spot with 2 games in hand for most of my hockey life, and now I'm here, and it did kind of feel like an arrival. You had that pain. You've only won 1 Stanley Cup game in your franchise's history. Thank you very much, Billy Gill, for doing that.
He was there.
I'm trying. I went around Roy and I reached out to Rose, so we'll see. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying to do my darndest here.
We would love you to be there because they win 1,000% of the Stanley Cup final games you attend as a credentialed media member.
No, they did lose another one.
Well, 50% is still pretty
good.
So
you're 1-1?
Yeah, 1-1.
Okay.
But, I do my part. How come Catherine and what's his name aren't there for the presentation, and William for the presentation of the trophy?
Oh, because the Prince of Wales?
Yeah, he's the Prince of Wales now.
Yeah. You would think that he'd be there for that.
I would want to be. If I had a trophy named the Billy Gill Trophy, I'd probably be there.
I think she has cancer.
That's a whole thing.
Unnecessary.
There's a big debate there as well.
It's an important.
It's a whole thing.
It's an important fact, though, if indeed it's true.
I mean,
do
you want me to tell?
They don't do it anyways, but
They should.
Yeah.
What?
Explain, please.
No, I mean, what do you want me to say? That she
He's
should get on
alluding
an airplane anyways?
to
and
the
go,
fact that
even though
there's
she
still
has
conspiracy theories going on about her.
Oh.
But we don't have to talk about that
I'm
here.
trying not to.
Okay. JuJu, are we expressing proper excitement for one of our local teams being in the finals? I don't feel like I can because Roy's not here. I got to be honest.
We usually go to him for excitement.
I have a follow-up
question.
question.
I have to be honest. There are only two people who can enjoy the Panthers being in the Stanley Cup Finals.
Me?
Roy is one, and my friend Walter Katz. And that's about it. I mean, Katzy has been there since day one. He goes to games. They're 20 games below 500. He is sitting there on a Tuesday night for Panthers and Penguins. He's been there forever. So he could be excited today. Roy could be excited today. But JuJu, I don't feel like we're properly expressing our gratitude and our excitement towards the Panthers. And perhaps it's because I said only two people can be excited. I don't know.
I think you're just displaying the proper amount. It's like you've been here before. You're acting like it.
Right.
And you just have the...
Win the cup.
Right. You have the fresh Stanley Cup loss right on the stench of your jacket still. So I think it's wise to show the resolve that you guys are showing.
Playing it cool.
I have a question for you, JuJu.
Playing
As
it
someone
cool.
who doesn't care about the Panthers, is this too much Panthers talk?
No, absolutely not. When your
Okay.
team goes to the championship, I think it should be talked about no matter what. Like,
Okay.
salute. You've made a Florida Panthers fan out of me over the last couple of years just because I love Mike. You feel me? But a lot of people, the haters are always going to say, "Oh, you make me hate the Panthers. Let them hate. Watch out.
Yeah.
We're in the Stanley Cup.
I've
You
noticed-
guys are in the Stanley Cup."
I've noticed that our audience seems to like this Panthers team more than the Heat. I feel like our audience, the
Give 'em
way we
time.
cover these
Well, they're
teams,
still playing in the
Give
Heat
them-
Orange.
give
No,
them
I
time.
mean just in general though. I think our fans root against the Heat. Where I've seen a lot of tweets more than I ever with the Heat of I've turned into a Panthers fan. Maybe it's because people weren't into hockey at all.
No, I think I hate the Panthers the least of all the Florida teams
Yeah.
that you guys
That's
like.
high praise.
And,
That's high praise.
and I really do think partially it's because of Roy.
Well,
It's not
And if
just
Roy were
that.
here, we would be getting more enthusiasm, I think.
And
because
Walter Katz. Yeah.
I mean,
Patsy.
It's not just that. I think we all have the governor like, we're talking hockey for more than 5 minutes, so we should probably stop. So I think it's actually quite overstated how much we talk about hockey in the middle of championship runs. Last week, like if we talked hockey, maybe 2-3 segments a show. When you look at the balance of the week, I mean, we often talk about Dak Prescott more than that. So I think we're good.
Justin Jefferson signed a 4-year, $140 million contract.
But he was hanging around the Jets facility last week.
Well,
Right.
that's how negotiations
With the
work.
Vikings, though.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
J.J. McCarthy, Rookie of the Year.
Get out
Put
of
a
here.
flyer on it.
Why?
I don't know.
J.J.
Why
McCarthy?
not?
You see, C.J. Stroud made he had a top 5 list of quarterbacks. It's the rare current quarterback who comes up with a top 5 list of current quarterbacks.
Did he make it?
Is he on it? Yeah.
He put himself third.
What?
What?
He did. He put himself third.
No, you got to give us all 5.
He had Lamar Jackson 2.
That's a weird way you're doing this.
Yeah, wait.
It is a weird way to do it.
Why don't you start with 5?
Well, I
So
got to
then-
think of who 5. Well, because he changed his list after he made it.
What?
So originally,
Mahomes has to be number 1, right?
originally it was Jalen Hurts at number 5.
The order we're doing this.
It was Dak Prescott at number
wait.
4. I don't have it in
No,
front of
you-
me.
you
I'm
should've
doing this
said
off
4.
memory.
Dak?
It was Dak at number 4. Yes. It was CJ at number 3. It was Lamar at number 2. It was Mahomes at number 1. And
Who's his
then,
top white quarterback?
What is
and then,
going on?
well, this is interesting. This is where it gets interesting. And then CJ redid his list.
What?
He took Jalen Hurts out and inserted Josh Allen in. Someone got to
It's
him.
like, what's the opposite of a Rooney rule?
I mean, fair play not putting yourself above Patrick Mahomes, right?
No. If you're going to do it and put yourself third, put yourself number 1.
I think you should have put himself
Is
second.
he friends with Dak? That's a weird one.
Zagaki. It's like putting plain Lay's potato chips on top.
Zadaki.
I have a theory that if you could redraft all the NFL quarterbacks, there's only one that you would take over C.J. Stroud at this point. It's clearly Patrick Mahomes, but
How about Joe Burrow?
I would that would be
He
the one.
left out Joe Burrow.
I mean, Joe Burrow's coming off of like a year where he dealt with injuries,
Yeah.
and we don't know for sure if this was a list. We're we're banking on your recollection.
I am telling you with 100% certainty, off the top of my head, I got that list right.
Yeah, Burrow's a
If
name
there's
that
one
you
thing
forget.
you can rely on Stugotz for, it's remembering a quarterback's list of quarterbacks.
I was so excited. I've never seen a quarterback give a top 5 list of quarterbacks.
Yeah, I don't think you can actually ignore like some of the reasons why people forget about Burrow is this recent string of injuries there. So you consider that. Whoever's picking number 2 in this fantasy QB draft, they've got a tough decision at 2, CJ or Burrow.
He took Lamar Jackson.
I'm just saying, he's being humble.
Right.
Lamar's accomplished a lot. MVP.
Who do you think's the crappiest quarterback that would put themselves in the top 5?
Great question.
Honestly, most of them I think would.
Yeah,
Mitch Trubisky.
Like, is Tua putting? would Tua put himself in the top 5? No, right?
I hope so.
Last year he found his
Don't you
voice a
want your
little bit.
quarterback to put?
That should be the test.
Put Aaron Rodgers?
Before they give him the contract.
Have y'all
Aaron-
seen Tua's curls?
Yeah.
Oh, he got curls for the girls.
Clean
right now.
cut too, shave.
He looks great.
Looks like a kid.
Huh?
He is a kid.
What?
He shaved his
You didn't see this?
clean shaven.
I saw it.
Got the curls
Okay.
going.
But he is a kid.
Where would Jared
not.
Goff have him?
Top 5.
No, I don't think so.
Yes, he would.
If your quarterback's
Stafford, top 5
if your
for sure.
quarterback's not putting themselves in top 5, I don't want you to be my quarterback.
Zagat.
Right.
Like at all. Like go away.
Is Purdy putting himself in the top 5?
No.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
think so?
Not with a straight face.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, he is.
really?
Yeah. You don't think so?
Wow,
I don't know.
I'm seeing a photo of Tua right now on our screens. That doesn't look like Tua to me.
He letting his soul glow, goddamn.
I like his shirt.
You got it at Macy's.
Beautiful Monstera leaf.
I got to be honest. I would not give him $55 million based on that look.
What?
We took it all. We brought them to our land. An endless night, ember hot and icy cold. The rage of the earth. We made this curse. Carved it in the blood on our backs. We did not see. We could not, but she did. And in the end,
What will I become? Senua's Saga. Hellblade 2.
Play it now with Game Pass.
Dan Le Batard.
Our Panther group chat, we're confident against the Lightning. This is a different team.
You're a Panther group chat, though.
No, I think no, but dude, you're so wrong on that. We've been terrified of this team forever, and I think there's a different energy where the Panthers, they want the Lightning.
Stugotz.
I want T-shirts made for this Panther run. What could be this Panther run? Our Panther group chat. We're not afraid of the Lightning.
That's a tagline for World RAR 3.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show with the Stugotz.
Stugotz, we were talking earlier this morning about the French Open.
Yes.
And Coco Gauff was saying how she didn't like that matches were going till 3 a.m. local time at Roland Garros because of weather delays and all of that. But you selfishly enjoy it because you have time to get home from work and watch the matches despite the time zones.
The time difference is interesting. It's weird because I agree with what she's saying. She said they're unhealthy. And she was talking about Novak Djokovic, who got done with a match at like 3 a.m., didn't get to sleep till 7 a.m., has to stretch afterwards, has to do media afterwards. And she said it's unhealthy. And it is unhealthy. But selfishly, I want to watch Coco Gauff. And the only way I can watch it is if they put her matches at night.
Yeah, that's
because
how,
the time difference doesn't work otherwise.
That's how I'm picturing Mike's morning on Sunday. He gets home at 5 a.m. He has to stretch. He's got to go through it's probably an ice bath. I'm assuming a shower at
Cold
least.
shower.
If you're at Space till 5, you
Right.
have to take a shower.
Yeah, cold shower.
Maybe-
Did anyone else at Space know the Panthers had advanced to the Stanley
There was
Cup?
one jersey in there.
Really?
Yeah, there was one jersey. In there.
Ironically, or like
No. There was one dude that was just like so happy to see another Panther fan.
Right.
Big hug, victory shot, the whole deal. But no one else. There was a couple, like I said, New Yorkers that barked.
Right.
But there wasn't a lot of like, hey, go Panthers. That's not really. I don't know what the Venn diagram is for Panthers fans and people that find themselves at Space.
It's a roar, right? That's what Panthers fans do.
Yeah, and claws. You
Right.
put your claws up to your face.
I think it was
like
also
the old
Swim
logo.
Week this weekend, so
Yeah,
you were
maybe all the
probably-
Panthers fans were at Swim Week.
probably.
No, they
That's-
were at the Quarterdeck. I mean, that's where you go post game for a Panthers game, is it not?
The locals.
Right.
Yeah.
Where do they do the parade if we win one in Sunrise?
We were talking about this, and that's getting ahead of ourselves.
The outlet mall.
I don't think it is.
When we win.
I would think Las Olas on the river.
Right.
I
A
think
boat
like
parade.
a river.
A boat parade?
Boat parade, the way that the Lightning do theirs on
Not
the
the
river.
outskirts of the Sawgrass Mills Mall.
It should start there.
That
I
would be
think.
convenient for me.
Let's go to the
Yeah.
rainforest. Let's do it.
Ooh, that'd be awesome.
Flamingo Boulevard.
Closes at 6 p.m. though.
Rainforest Cafe closed at 6?
It does, dude. I'm telling you. I've tried
What?
to. I'm telling you
Every
because
day?
the mall closes. I'm
Hold
telling you,
on.
it's inside the mall. There's
The
no.
mall closes at 6?
Well, there's
I'm
the
telling you,
Oasis, but
I-
the actual like mall.
I'm
Hold
telling
on
you,
a second.
Rainforest Cafe closes at an odd time.
No way.
I've tried
At
to
6
take my daughter
p.m.
there.
You can't get a dinner there. You have to do.
I'm telling you, because it's not. You can't get
Brunch?
there.
No,
You have
wait.
to be in the mall.
Chris, this is a place where parents take their kids.
Happy hour ends at 6 p.m.
Well, then that's pretty.
That's all Chris knows. Right? That's all he knows.
You might as well. be
Chris
close.
doesn't know when bars close.
It's
He just knows
11
when happy
okay,
hours
so
are.
Flanigan's happy hour
What time's it
lasts
closed overall?
9
18
p.m.
hours.
Monday through Saturday, 11 to 9. Sunday, 11 to 8. That's still early
Maybe
for
it was
a
a
restaurant.
Sunday.
It was the happy hour.
It was the
swear,
happy hour.
I've tried to bring my daughter there once,
Graceland?
and they were like, they're not seating anymore.
Closed at 6.
Speaking of
It's a happy hour.
Flanagans, did anyone go to the Flannies Marlins game?
I
and get the
assume
jersey?
Billy. I assume Billy went. So Saturday was like a stacked sports day because there was the Champions League final,
Yeah.
and then Panthers had Game 6 in Sunrise. So I had initially bought tickets, super excited. Again, not unlike the wedding for the cousin, where I saw the date. I'm like, this one could potentially be tricky. And sure enough, I ended up buying tickets, but I couldn't attend the game. But I did find some friends that were willing to go and take the free ticket, and I did secure the bag. I have the
Willing to
Flanagans-
go.
Right.
Yeah, I.
Free ticket. I mean,
I got the cup and I got the
Yeah.
Flannies
Wow.
green Marlins
You got the
jersey.
jersey.
Yep.
But you're not wearing the jersey.
No, I have to pick it up from my friend Firmo.
Hold on a second. So you gave away your tickets in exchange for getting the giveaway?
Yeah. That's all
That
I
doesn't
want.
seem
I
like a
wasn't-
fair trade.
I wasn't actually gonna like spend time at that ballpark in that game. It doesn't really do much for me. I just wanted the jersey.
Well,
Right.
from what I saw, it was a chore to get those giveaways.
Yeah, there was like a
so you
10,000
have a good
person-
friend because I heard that they ran out of cups.
Well, my
from
friend-
someone who was here, they didn't get one of the cups.
What?
Yeah, there was only 10,000 cups, so they were in the
There were
line.
more
They-
than 10,000 people
Yeah,
there?
they didn't
Yeah,
get the
yeah.
cup,
It was
but
like
they got
single
the
file.
jersey.
So my
the
friend,
cup.
kind of knew that this
promotion.
might be a scene. He's a big baseball
why they
guy,
do
not
it.
unlike
Yeah.
yourself. He got there early, and it wasn't mission. There was some friends that were at the bright side with us watching the Champions League game that also had tickets. And as the game approached halftime, they're like, "We're going to run to Lone Depot Park real quick to get our jersey." They got there. And they realized, oh, this is a huge line.
Yeah.
So they didn't end up actually getting their jerseys, and they just came back to the bar.
I heard that they also, like, if you were in that line, it was a separate entrance. And if you were in that line at one point, they texted, like, the people with the tickets, and they're like, you can come in. Like, you'll get your thing. Don't worry. Like, you'll get a jersey. Don't wait in this line. Because it was like the fourth inning and the line was still going on.
Why doesn't Flanagan's just sell baseball jerseys?
Huh.
Feels like they could make a lot of money, and you
it's a fair
don't
question.
have to drive to Lone Depot Park on a Saturday afternoon.
But a very successful promotion.
Yeah, great
people,
promotion.
Yeah,
well,
but
10,000 people.
People wanted those Flannies
apparently
jerseys.
21,000 people were there, according to Jer Bear.
Yeah, that was the announced attendance. I can look and see what the rest of the weekend looked
cut
like.
that in
but
half, give or take, because
But they were all there
we
for the
know they're
cup, for
juicing
the
it,
giveaway,
but-
right?
They were there for the jersey.
There were
They got
11,000 that were upset, correct?
Did the Marlins win?
Because you just stuck watching the Marlins.
Saturday, they
Right.
didn't.
They didn't.
No. They
Yeah.
won Friday.
They're bad.
Well, you know, they
No,
could be worse.
It's early.
It's early. There's still plenty of baseball
We're
left.
also
to be
playing the
played.
World Series champion.
Exactly right. Defending champions.
Does it matter?
I don't know if that matters with the crowd, but maybe like.
Does it
hey,
matter who they play? Is what I'm saying.
I think casual baseball fans that maybe don't have their loyalty with the Marlins, but still like the game, but they're living here, they might be like, hey, let's see the reigning world champs are in town this weekend.
Yeah.
I'm checking out the line right now. It makes me
line is
sad.
crazy.
No,
It
it's
was a-
long, but
it
it
was
makes me sad. That's what it takes to get 20,000 people to a Marlins
there
game.
were 11,000 people there on Friday and 13,000 on Sunday, 21,000 on Saturday when this promotion was there. So basically the amount that you had on the two other games combined against the World Series champs.
Do you think there's a meeting this morning about permanently partnering with Flanigan's?
It's a busy time in the sports calendar.
You can't overdo it, though.
Will Smith and Martin Lawrence are going to be there on
saw
Wednesday
that.
throwing out the first pitch. They're
That's
taking
great.
For
over.
Bad
What?
Boys.
Yeah,
Is
Bad
it
Boys
4?
Forever
Yep.
2.
Really?
Yeah.
Four boys.
Bad Boys Forever
Well,
Part 2.
it's like they didn't anticipate that they would make a fourth one because the
Yeah.
third one in the franchise was Bad Boys for Life, and
Yeah.
you gotta.
Once you go for life,
keep
that's
that in
it.
your-
It's over.
But you got to keep that one in
But
your
the
back
number 4
pocket
was
so you
in
could
there,
do the
too.
number 4.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad Boys.
Oh, man.
For
Should
life.
have been 3 life. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
midnight.
Like Girls 5 Eva.
Now it should be Bad Boys Forever.
Yeah.
They didn't call me. So
more than for life. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that end it forever?
No.
I mean, no.
Well,
No.
it depends how they do.
Keeps the door open a bit, right?
If they do well, there will be a 5th Bad Boys.
Are you gonna see it?
Maybe.
They're throwing out the first pitch?
Yeah.
Really?
Mike Fuentes just showed me that on eBay you can get the Marlins Flanigan's jersey for $115.
I was looking to see how much the cup was going for since they ran out.
Honestly, might be worth it. You don't have to drive all the way to the ballpark. The tickets were probably like $5, $6.
Listeners of this fan,
you're saying the
listeners
driving, the amount of tickets, the money you spend on tickets, the money you spend on concessions. I would pay $115 and stay at home.
Listeners of this podcast by now know about Flanigan's, but it is a curious thing that it is such a hyper-local sponsorship that got these fans out there. Even though Flanigan's is also a publicly traded company, it only exists in South Florida. It doesn't even exist in Central Florida.
We should do a Flanigan's Day on the Batard Show.
I feel like every day is Flanigan's Day.
That's so true.
Yeah.
What am I thinking?
You should expand Flanigan's outside of this state.
What?
I'm sure they've
Why
had
not?
several thoughts to do that, but
We should sell cups with Dan's face on it in the Flanigan style, but it just be like a red
Danigans.
cup.
Wow,
Yeah,
Danigans.
I like it.
Danigans
Come on,
is
man,
good.
merch shop.
I will say this. Last year they had a Flanigan's Day, and they did kind of get criticized for how lazy the cups were.
cups,
'cause
yeah.
It was just a Flanigan's cup, and like on the side they found
We
an
were
empty
the ones who
spot.
criticized
Yeah,
them.
yeah. We had some of those.
I think it's that cup that just like
Yeah, look, it's right
lazily
over- I
had a
think-
Marlins logo on
We
it.
have one right over there.
So what
this
did
year
they
they-
do differently this year?
Well, they put it
Papa
on.
Joe has a
they put
hat
it on
on.
Papa
Oh,
Joe.
that's
Yeah.
cute.
Next year, I would say you put Billy the Marlins face in there, right? Like Papa Joe's style.
I think they have to make it Marlins colors, like make it
Like a teal-
an
make a
iconic
teal cup, yeah.
limited edition cup.
Flanigan's Cup, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Flanigan's, Marlins, if you're out there listening, we're here if you'd like to send us some of these so we can kind of see them in person and give an honest, actual assessment of it because we're just relying on pictures. So.
And rockin' rib rolls.
I don't want a teal Flanigan's cup.
Why not?
Yeah, it's got to be green. I said that
It's
back
got to be
here.
green.
Oh,
yeah.
I'm sorry.
Green
You
or
hate
pink?
breast
It's the
cancer
original
awareness.
cup. Yes.
Billy,
Jeez.
no one's gonna understand that reference.
Well, they have pink breast cancer awareness cups. That's not good enough for you guys because it's not green.
It just doesn't feel like a Flanigan's cup unless it's green. That's all I'm saying. I think that's all Chris is saying.
It washes your dog the same way.
I wouldn't have been interested in the Flanigan's Marlins jersey or the Flanigan's Marlins cup if it came in teal or whatever Marlins colors. I'm getting it specifically because the Marlins are the ones that are fitting into the Flanigan scheme and not the other way around.
I'd rock a teal cup.
Yeah, Flanigan's is the bigger brand.
Speaking of big brands, Kennedy Carter got in trouble for pushing Caitlin Clark in the back this weekend.
Seemed intentional. Yeah.
I did watch some of that game.
Yeah, it was obviously intentional.
Don't accidentally.
I mean, no one likes her.
Good read on the situation.
It seems like no one likes her. It does. What did she do wrong?
But it was clearly intentional, is our joke. Yeah.
I know. I get it.
Probably
She
did a huge
accidentally
number, yeah.
just pushed her.
But why are we doing this to poor Caitlin Clark?
Man, we
God.
can ease
Poor
up on the
Caitlin
poor
Clark.
Caitlin Clark
Come on.
situations. Like, yeah, because she's still a hooper. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think this is more so, look, if somebody come in here right now and push y'all the same way Kennedy pushed Caitlin, I would beat their ass. I would at least show them that you cannot touch Mike. You can't touch Chris. You better you better not touch no damn Jessica. So I feel like her teammates need to show a little bit more like spunk in defending their friend.
Do you have someone from like Coward Show or like McAfee coming in here and shoving us? Like, who's coming in here to shove us?
Dan Patrick for sure. Who else?
Seton that game.
Yes. Yep. Or Fritzy. One of those two.
for sure.
Rich Eisen. Oh, Rich Eisen on your ass, dude.
I don't
You
care.
better look out for him.
Why? What's he doing now?
He heard what you said.
About what?
This is
You
just
know
a
what you
Just
did.
body of work.
Lazy River
I would
stew.
kick his ass, man.
We do this.
I don't think you could
That
beat.
is a
I don't think I
flop.
could either.
That's
Yeah.
a flop from Caitlin.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's not messed up and that, I mean, very clearly intentional, but a little extra there by Caitlin.
I
Come
think
on.
that if the refs hadn't completely missed this call, this doesn't become the level of like, this doesn't have the same level of vitriol in it in the whole like conversation around it. But if there's two things that are true, one, WNBA officiating is not great. It's not very good. And two, things when you see a clip like this on Twitter, it's going to get blown out of proportion in a way that becomes bigger than like what it actually was in that game. Like in that game, I was watching it with Lucy while we were painting little tote bags. We were having a little arts and crafts day. Oh. So after the game ended, I was offline for like 6 or 7 hours. And then when I went on Twitter, I was like, wait, what's going on? Like, I can't believe people are talking. This happened in the third quarter. It wasn't even like in the final stretch of the game. Like, they had even interviewed Caitlin right at the quarter break and asked her about it. And she said that she didn't think it was a basketball play. It should have been a flagrant. And I thought that had kind of been the end of it. And then it just like the conversation of it like kept spiraling online in a way that I was honestly pretty surprised by.
But think about what JuJu is saying. I'm saying the opponents appear not to like her, and JuJu is saying her teammates won't even defend her.
Which says a lot. Right. So what must, right. Speculation, but Caitlin might not be getting along with her teammates as much as we think she is.
Back streets back. All right. Since the dawn of mankind, we've cooked our food over an open flame and debated the best way to grill. One thing not up for debate, grilling and beer always go together. But not just any beer will do. Whether you barbecue, Texas style, or just celebrate Wednesday with burgers and dogs, I love Miller Lite. Every single time my team plays on television, I am sitting behind that television screen with a Miller Lite or 3. Miller Lite keeps it simple. Undebatable quality, taste as great as your barbecue. It's the beer that strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters the most. With the Miller Lite in hand, grilling doesn't just taste great, it tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/Dan. Or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces. Woo!
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.